Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Julia Michaels, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Babby and Paul.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to do this whole podcast in British accents.
No.
In honor of the Queen, love.
Oh no. Her Majesty's dead, bro.
Oh no,
Oh, I can't take this.
it's horrible news. Let's take 2
Oh,
minutes of
no.
silence for the Queen's honor.
I hope she's buried 12 feet under.
12 feet.
Yeah,
I
6
don't-
feet ain't enough.
I don't think she's been buried yet. I don't think they've
When they bury her.
They just announced the details for her funeral.
Oh, okay. Dump her in the hollow earth.
Hollow Earth. Yeah. Man, it's been kind of crazy to see the quick turnaround people have taken to the Queen. We're like 2 days ago, or I guess 3 days ago, according to us recording this, people were like, man, the Queen sucks. She was racist and colonizing and homophobic, and then she died, and it's like, oh no, we have to honor the Queen, actually.
No.
She's like one of the
Please
most
don't
important.
disrespect the Queen.
I saw a bunch of Twitter
Have some
liberals.
backbone.
They were calling her a symbol of democracy.
Yeah,
which is,
shut up.
That doesn't even make any sense because she's literally a
Makes no
symbol for
sense.
monarchy. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
It was a good day.
It was a funny day. Irish Twitter was hilarious to
Oh, I
watch.
love the Irish.
That was great.
Noted for that.
Yes, we got some good videos. Just all the Irish just having a fun time, which is, yeah, deserved. Because I think she was against Ireland leaving the UK, and then they did, and then
Yes.
she was still salty about it.
Yes. And parts of Scotland as well, I think.
Yeah, I know some parts of Scotland want to become independent, but
I think all of Scotland does.
oh, okay. Well, here's to hoping now that Charles is king, he's going to be a little bit more lenient. Knowing
Yeah,
Charles,
he's definitely...
he's-
Sausage Fingers himself is going to be so much better.
I saw multiple videos today of him like hissing at his assistant. So
Yeah.
I'm sure this is going to go over.
That's just
very
typical
well.
royal family
What?
stuff. So.
Yeah, he was signing something. I don't know what it was, but he was like at his desk, and there was like a couple of like knickknacks on the desk, and he was like, like motioning to his assistant to move it. And I'm like, what are you doing, my guy? The royal, he just became king and has already gone to his head like a couple
Yep.
days in.
He's royal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like they're gonna
know.
be stealing Ashanti gold for him real quick here.
I know.
Look out. You got any relics hiding around anywhere? Look out.
Oh, it's fine. It'll just go to the London Museum, which is actually
Yeah,
a good
well.
thing that a bunch of like
It's a good thing that
historical
colonizers are
artifacts-
stealing artifacts and then putting them in a museum so you can charge $20 to go look at them.
No, but what you don't understand is that they come from places where they don't have museums, and they would have just like
Oh, okay.
they wouldn't be making any money off of it. So it's better for British people to make money off of it
Yeah,
than
of
it
course.
is for the other people
Yeah.
to have pieces of their heritage and culture.
Exactly.
Anyways, let's
was a good
talk
day. It was a
about
good
let's talk about stupid entertainment news.
That was my entertainment this week. That's all I
That
have.
that was pretty funny. That was a fun day. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about actually. We got I know. Well, we had D23 the past couple of days. So we have Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars news to talk about. We also had a Disney and Marvel games showcase I think a day before D23. So we've got some Marvel and Star Wars game news there a little bit. Not a lot of it was interesting, but some of it was. And one of them was especially interesting. We'll get there when we get there. Let me see what else happened. Oh, we got some fun. We got the first trailer for Glass Onion, aka Knives Out 2. It is currently playing at TIFF, which I believe is the Toronto International Film Festival, and it has been getting rave reviews from people who have seen it. So I'm
I love
very
Glass
excited.
Onion.
I love Glass Onion. I still don't know why it's called that. The trailer did not make it clear. So I will see. We have an official release date for that, so that'll be fun. So I guess we'll just jump into gaming because we always start there.
Game.
Gaming, we don't have a ton of gaming news outside of the Disney and Marvel gaming showcase, but we did get news that the new Minecraft Live, aka I guess what's replaced Minecon post COVID, where they do like their own little Nintendo Direct thing about the new updates and such. That's going to be October 15th, so about a month out. So I'll probably talk about that when that happens. We got some news about Mario and Rabbids, which is weird to say. The sequel. It's getting Rayman DLC.
Let's go.
I know, I'm excited. I'm not going to play it, but it's cool.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It's cool. I love Rayman. Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins are great. Rayman 2 is also fantastic. You can play that on probably every single console known to man. It's been ported to... Honestly, Rayman 2 might have more ports than Skyrim. It's pretty crazy how many times that game has been re-released. And so I'm a big Rayman fan, but they haven't done anything with it since Rayman Legends, and he's coming back, kind of, as DLC for Mario and Rabbids. I would love a new Rayman game to come out, but who knows if that's going to happen. But there you go. Velma's Ultimate got changed in Multiverses. I don't know if you guys saw this. This was just announced today. Controversially, Velma's ultimate move in that game was calling the police and getting people arrested. So there was a lot of, like conservative people doing the classic where they got like LeBron James on one team
Look
and
at this
Velma
guy.
on the other. And then they're like, ha, 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 white lady called the cops on a black man. And it's a very funny joke. But they decided to change it. So instead, Velma now calls the mystery machine. And then
We don't call 911. She just pulls out a shotty of her own.
Yeah, she instead dishes out vigilante justice.
Yeah.
And gets Shaggy to arrest them. So that's kind of
that's much better.
Yeah. Zach Fox, friend of the show, Zach Fox.
We love Zach Fox.
Tweeted. So he quote tweeted the Velma will no longer call the police, and then he just said she will now post a black square instead. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Zach Fox pops off regularly.
Yeah, gotta love Zach Fox. So yeah, there's that. There wasn't really anything else it was like the only thing that was of note in the Multiverses update. They just changed that. But now we have to talk about some more industry side stuff, because this was the big drama this week. We don't usually talk about drama, but there was some big drama. Drama. Sony, Microsoft drama. I know. The two titans of the gaming industry are duking it out on the public stage, aka PlayStation is really sad. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So I guess to set the stage, Microsoft has officially bought Activision, or I think they're still in like litigation, because some people have called for like antitrust stuff because they've bought Bethesda and Activision in the span of like a year and a half, and people are like, those are two behemoth companies in gaming, then this will kind of start to be like a monopoly. I don't know if it's gotten approved yet, but I'm pretty sure it's like all but confirmed. So Microsoft has the rights to Call of Duty, which traditionally has been kind of quasi partnered with PlayStation to get like the
the
betas
past couple
early. Yeah.
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 Before it was Xbox, they switched.
They just switched. So there's been some questions as to, well, what's going to happen here? Because Call of Duty is probably the biggest first-person shooter franchise in the world. Future installments, are they going to come to PlayStation? Are they going to stay on Xbox only? A lot of questions. Microsoft answered that question with what I thought was a pretty fair deal, and I'm not always super positive on all of Microsoft's doings, but they said, well, you know what? We'll have, I think the contract was ending this year for Modern Warfare 2. And so then Microsoft said, you know what? For the next 3 years, so the next 3 entries of Call of Duty, we are going to be releasing it on PlayStation as well as Xbox. And the gaming community was like, okay, that's pretty nice, I guess. There was some questions about, like, it is still kind of quasi-exclusivity because there's been some debate as to what exclusivity means. Jeff Keighley, friend of the show, Jeff Keighley, tweeted about this, quote, obviously a lot going on behind the scenes here with respect to the proposed Microsoft Activision deal. The thing I've always wondered, if COD is part of Game Pass on Xbox but $70 on PlayStation, how much should that be factored into the discussion around exclusivity? Which is something I had never really considered, but yeah, they're essentially making it $60 more to get it on PlayStation than to get it on Xbox with Game Pass, which is still relatively cheap. So that happened, and then the CEO of PlayStation made this very public statement that this COD deal, the, I guess, kind of olive branch, but that Microsoft handed out to PlayStation, was not enough. They were pissed, and they thought that it was a slap in the face that Microsoft let them release the game on their stores.
You.
Here's the thing. People are going to buy it digitally on the PlayStation Store, and which PlayStation is going to make millions of dollars in sales. I don't know why they're so upset that it was capped at 3 years. I think they may have wanted their old deal back and maybe expected that Microsoft is going to buy Activision and then still give PlayStation the rights for the early betas and all of the console tie-ins and whatever. And so they were upset. And Microsoft has not made a statement about that statement as far as I've seen. So yeah, that was, it was weird. I feel like this is a rare PlayStation L. Actually, no, PlayStation's been doing some L's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think PlayStation as a company is pretty weird. I have not figured them out yet. So there was the drama. Who knows what's going to happen with that? I'm assuming they're going to take the deal anyways, because why wouldn't they? I just don't get why they complained about it in the first place. So there you go. There's your game industry news. Everyone loves game industry news. Okay, let's talk about Disney and Marvel. I watched it. It was like maybe 20 minutes. It was really short. I was expecting a lot more, and the entire chat was like, when are we going to get Spider-Man 2 gameplay? When are we going to get Wolverine gameplay? And it's like, you really think PlayStation's not saving that for their own direct or whatever? There's no way they're going to let Marvel get that. And they didn't. There was no Spider-Man or Wolverine news from Insomniac Studios. What we got, there's a platformer coming for the Switch where you play as Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald. So that's pretty awesome. There was the Marvel Midnight Suns game that we already knew about, but it's coming out in December. So that's pretty awesome. We got, I was a little bit excited because the guy was like, okay, we're going to go to a land far, far away. And I'm like, okay, we're going Star Wars. And he announced Lego Star Wars news, which I kind of came out of nowhere. Lego Star Wars is getting a new edition. It's called the Galactic Edition. It's coming out on November 1st with 13 DLC character packs. Yeah, a little bit odd. I know this Lego game, this newest one, is the best-selling one by far. It smashed that sales record within the first month. So we're getting, I think this just means that we're getting 6 new character packs because there was already 7 out before. We don't know exactly what they are, but the characters that they announced that are going to be coming are Cassian Andor, which makes sense because he's getting his show in a couple weeks. Obi-Wan from the show, Kenobi, Reva from Kenobi, and Captain Rex from the Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch and Return of the Jedi. So, pretty sick. I hope they add voice lines because there was some controversy with the character packs that already came out that like in the game already, like if you have like in player 1 you have like Darth Vader and in player 2 you have Obi-Wan, then they'll have like a little banter when they first spawn in. And that's kind of cool. I don't think they've ever done that in a Lego game before. But when they added the character packs for the DLC, they had no voice acting. So like you would like put Ahsoka with Anakin and then she wouldn't say anything. I was like, come on, these two are like built for each other. You kind of have to have some voice lines there. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'll keep you posted. But then the big one, I talked a little bit, I think about a couple months ago, that Amy Hennig is getting her own Marvel and Star Wars game at Skydance Interactive Studios. Amy Hennig is I think she was the game director for the first 3 Uncharted games. So she is definitely an industry veteran. She's very good at making good games. So it was like, okay, I'm down for a Amy Hennig Star Wars and Marvel game. What is it? We found out what Amy Hennig's Marvel game is. And it is a World War II action game starring Captain America and Black Panther.
That's awesome.
I'm waiting for applause.
That's awesome. We did it.
We did it. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work. I think I saw somewhere that the Black Panther in this game is T'Challa's grandfather, which I don't know. I'm not familiar with the comics at all. So maybe that was a thing that happened. It just seemed like out of nowhere because it was like this World War II thing. I'm like, oh, cool, a Captain America game. And then Black Panther showed up at the end. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of a curveball. But it's just those two. There's like 4 characters, and then the other 2 are just like random soldiers. So it's just Captain America and Black Panther in World War II fighting Nazis, which, I don't know. Sounds interesting. Might give it a shot if it comes to Game Pass.
Shoot some Nazis.
Shoot some Nazis. I don't know if you'll shoot Nazis I guess Captain America had a gun in that first.
Awesome Nazis.
gonna rough them up a little bit. It's gonna be fun. I will say that Marvel has kind of been doing good with their games. Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing. I really like that game. Avengers was fine. It's okay. Not really good, but not the worst thing ever.
You gotta miss sometimes.
They gotta miss sometimes. And then the Spider-Man game. I guess there's 2 of them, technically.
Those do bang.
Yeah. Miles Morales is awesome. If you have not played it yet, I highly recommend it.
I have not. I'm waiting until it's ported on PC.
It is coming to PC. So you got that.
Deserve.
It's fun. It's really good. Because it's like, well, you get all of your Spider-Man powers, but also you can turn invisible and shoot lightning. So it's really just like cooler Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty sick. Plus he has like the coolest suit ever. I love the Miles suit.
True.
So, pretty epic. I guess we'll just stay on Disney news because we have stuff to talk about. Let's start with show news because we have less show news than we have movie news. In terms of show news, I don't care about any Marvel show that has been announced. There was like this Secret Invasion one that had Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in it. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. Everything else, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with Marvel at this point. But there was one Marvel thing that actually looked really interesting that I am for sure going to check out. It's called Werewolf by Night. It is like, it's in black and white, so I don't know if they're doing like the WandaVision thing. It looked like an old like Universal Monster show, and like it was, intentionally so. It looked very vintage. I think this is like a thing for Man Thing, which I've never even heard of, but it's like a bunch of like werewolves that are trying to hunt this guy. I'm like, oh, that's cool. As long as I need Marvel stuff to be different because everything feels the same right now. Just looking at clips of She-Hulk makes me want to gouge my eyes out. So, please just do anything other than that because I have no interest in anything. But make it something weird, and I guess that's really it. Just make it weird, and I'll watch it. So I think that's coming out in October. So I don't know, maybe worth checking out. And then we got 3 trailers for new Star Wars shows. What? So crazy. I only watched 2. I'm not going to watch the Bad Batch trailer. I love that show so much. I don't want to. I watched the first trailer and I'm already in. I do not need to see anything else. But unfortunately, Bad Batch has been delayed. I think it was supposed to come out later this month. And they delayed it to January 4th. I'm very sad. I'm very sad about that. I guess they didn't want it to line up with Andor. But now there's going to be a gap for like a couple months in between Andor and Bad Batch. Oh, wait, never mind. There's another show that's coming out in between then. Okay, we're good. But yeah, very excited for Bad Batch. We got a new trailer for Mandalorian Season 3. I don't know if this is the trailer that was shown at Star Wars Celebration because they did not live stream it or release an official version of that trailer. I think it might be. But, it looked good. It seems to be focusing on Mando and Baby Yoda kind of finding their place in all this Mandalorian nonsense that's going on. Because there's been a lot of upheaval in the Mandalorians since the Clone Wars, really. And then the Empire just bombed their entire planet and killed most of them. So now it's kind of, now that the Empire's gone, Mandalorians are like, well, what do we do now? Like, who's going to lead us? And now that Mandalorian guy has the Darksaber, now he has a claim to the throne, but he doesn't really want it. So I think that's kind of the clash that's going to happen. So, I don't know. Looked interesting. Looks to mostly be focusing on Mandalorian stuff, which is good, because Season 2 kind of focused on Jedi stuff, and that's not what that show is. So, keep it in the Mandalorian lane, please. Also, Babu Frick is in it.
I love Babu Frick.
Who doesn't love Babu Frick?
He's my favorite Star Wars character.
Him and, what was the big slug's name? From Rise of Skywalker. It's like, oh, frick. Why can't I think of it? Rise of Skywalker. Oh, it's probably The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
A Rise of Skywalker. Slug.
The Rise.
Claude. That's right.
Claude.
Yeah, they named this guy Claude. I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, so I guess for those who don't know who Babu Frick is, because he was in like The Rise of Skywalker for like 30 seconds. It was this thing that I think J.J. Abrams came up with. And then the studio was like, nobody's going to like that. You are so stupid. Like, this is another Jar Jar. So just like barely put him in it. And then literally everyone loves Babu Frick because he's just a little guy who Talks funny. And I guess he's going to be in Mandalorian season 3. So much fan service in these Star Wars shows.
Man,
I know.
crazy.
I know. This would be before Rise of Skywalker, though. So this is going to be a very young, hot Babu Frick. So it's going to be awesome. And then we got one more trailer. We're getting another Clone Wars spinoff. I think I already talked about this. I know. They keep spin-offing this show. Because we got Bad Batch, and then this one, Tales of the Jedi. And then I guess if you want to count Ahsoka as a spin-off of Clone Wars, although it's kind of a spin-off of Mandalorian now. I don't know. It's too complicated. But we got Tales of the Jedi that's coming out on October 26th. It's going to be 6 mini episodes, and they're all dropping on October 26th. But it is 2 stories that we are doing. The story of Jedi Dooku and the story of Ahsoka, which I know friend of the show Grant is going to hate because he hates when Dave Filoni shoves in Ahsoka. But I'm guessing that this is going to set up the show. It's coming out early next year. It actually looked pretty interesting. I'm more interested in the Dooku stuff because we have not seen Dooku as a Jedi hardly at all, at least in the visual media or the games. We have not really seen it. It might be in the comics and the books, but who cares about that? Who cares about books? Nobody. Defund the library.
Read.
Can't read. Dumb.
Read. No point.
But it looked pretty interesting. There was like Dooku training Qui-Gon and like that. There was Dooku with Mace Windu. And then like all of it is like kind of leading where he's like using the dark side and everyone's like, stop doing that. And he's like, it's the only way to win, which kind of, foreshadows his whole trying to take over the whole universe as a bad guy scheme. So that'll be interesting. I think Ahsoka's probably going to be adapting a little bit of the Ahsoka book, which I've listened to about half of it as an audio book. It's probably only going to tell the bit about how she got her white lightsabers because I think that confuses a lot of people, especially if they haven't seen Rebels. Like when you just watch Mandalorian season 2 and then you just see this Traguda chick who has 2 white lightsabers and it's like, what? That exists? Oh. Yes, it does. It's a very specific process on how to get those. And they used to be way different in Legends, and now they're even more different in canon. I don't have to go through all of it because it's a long process. But yeah, so we'll see that. It's her as a baby, getting picked up by like Jedi Scouts, and then her training with Anakin, which I don't really know why we're getting a short about that because that's literally the Clone Wars. That's all of the Clone Wars is mostly Ahsoka and Anakin. And then taking down an Inquisitor after Revenge of the Sith, after season 7 of the Clone Wars, where she's going to get her white lightsaber crystals by turning the red crystals white. So, I mean, that's what I assume. Yeah, that's what you do. Because Sith, they take the Jedi crystals and then they pour their hatred into it and make it red. And then someone can come along to those red crystals and then take the pain out of it. And then they're like redeemed and then they turn white. That's...
Yes, because white means redeemed.
Hey, I didn't make it. I'm just saying that's what Disney chose to be canon.
Disney chose.
Originally, they were just synthetic. Just people used to make white lightsaber crystals. But now they have to be cured to be white. All I'm saying is that a Mormon probably wrote that into part of the canon.
Disney, do you have an objective behind all this?
I think they might have an
Mormon
agenda. They have the Mormon agenda. Where if you don't get that reference, you should go on the Church of Latter-day Saints website because they lay it out for you pretty well.
They lay everything out.
They lay out everything pretty well. That's the one thing I'll give the Church of Latter-day Saints. They're very upfront with their values, which makes it easy to hate them because they're like, yeah, we're racist. Anyways, let's talk about some movies that Disney confirmed. I'm
Okay.
mostly going to be talking about Pixar movies because I'm a Pixar fanboy. I absolutely love
we know.
Pixar.
Pixar.
Pixar is my favorite studio.
Should get married.
I wish I could marry Pixar. I want to be buried in the Steve Jobs building.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I thought was not interesting, and then two things that I thought might have potential. So let's talk about the not interesting one first. Inside Out 2 is confirmed. I was so sad when I saw that because,
Yeah, that was a weird thing.
well, I was so sad because Pete Docter made Inside Out 1. Pete Docter might be my favorite Pixar director. He's done Up and Inside Out and Soul. I think Up and Soul are great. Inside Out, it was pretty good, but not as good as his other movies. When I saw Inside Out 2 confirmed, my heart sank. I'm like, oh no, Pete Docter. He makes these like great like movies that have like some great life lessons that kids can easily grasp onto, but still have something for the adults that they can relate to. And I really appreciate that. I'm like, oh no, they're taking him away from doing another like great IP, and now that he's going to be making a sequel, it's not him. He's not making this movie. They got someone else to do it. It's directed by Kelsey Mann, who wrote The Good Dinosaur. So you know it's going to be a banger. It's written by Meg LaFauve. I'm probably butchering that. But she wrote the first Inside Out and Captain Marvel, everyone's favorite Marvel movie.
Ooh, that's true.
So there you go. I think it was confirmed that Amy Poehler is coming back to play Joy. I like Amy Poehler. She kind of disappeared. I don't see her in anything anymore, but I like Amy Poehler. The synopsis is that Riley is going to be a younger teenager now instead of a kid, and there's going to be some new emotions that come with it. So that'll be fun, I guess. I don't know if I'll see that one. I'll probably see what the reviews are first and then decide whether or not to watch it. I still haven't seen Lightyear, so
Wow.
I know, fake fan.
Yeah, I have no plan on seeing that.
I don't really either. So then we got some more news about Elemental. That's that movie that was already confirmed about the water guy and the fire chick. I don't think we knew anything about it before, but now we know stuff. It is now confirmed to be a love story between, their names are Ember and Wayne.
Wayne.
Fire and Wayne.
Well, it's spelled Wain, like rain, except
like
with a
Wayne.
W.
That's really cool.
I thought that one was kind of clever because Wayne is an actual name, but nobody's named Ember. Well, maybe there are people
there are
named
a
Ember,
couple.
but like Wayne is like a name. Granted, it's like a grandpa name, but it is a name, and it is a double entendre for water stuff. But Ember's just fire. So, yeah. It's directed by Peter Sohn, who he's kind of been all over the place in terms of animation. He was the voice of Remy's brother in Ratatouille. He was an animator on Osmosis Jones and director of The Good Dinosaur. All of these Good Dinosaur alums getting all these great projects.
Go.
Yeah, Unknown Rider. Can't tell you anything about that. That's pretty much all we got from it. People were comparing the water guy to Osmosis Jones. And then I looked up and I saw that the guy animated Osmosis Jones. And I don't know if there's a connection there, but I'm just throwing it out there that he did animate on Osmosis Jones. So it's out there. I think the poster said that it's coming out summer of 2023, but on Pixar's upcoming tab on their website, it says June 16th, 2023. So I don't know if that is official, but there you go. That is that. And then we got a new announcement for a new Pixar movie. Basically know nothing about it, but it's called Elio. Follows an 11-year-old child who can't fit in, meets aliens, and becomes the ambassador for Earth. Yo, that's awesome. I saw some people say that this is trans representation. I think it is way too early to tell. But some people have pointed out that it's like a mix of like Ella and Elliot. And so then it's like, well, this person is not quite feminine, not quite masculine. It could be somewhere in between. We literally just got a picture of the kid and then like the logo. So, I mean, if it is inclusive, great. We need that kind of representation, especially in kids' movies. I don't know
I
if
can't
that's
wait for the firestorm on that. That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, but I don't know if that's what it is. It could be. I mean, that is a reasonable case to say that it is somewhere in the middle, but we just don't know. But I'll keep you posted. We'll probably get something about that probably later next year, because we didn't even. It's not even coming out next year. We still got a couple years before that one comes out. Let's talk about some Disney movies. We got 2 Disney animated movies confirmed. I think we know basically nothing about this one. It's called Asha. I think it's the new Disney princess movie, which people have been saying is another black princess. Honestly, she looks more like Native American or like South American to me, because she has very straight hair.
Maybe you're just not cultured.
Maybe I'm just not cultured, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's always the reason.
But she has a pet goat, and goats are in South America, I guess, and Africa.
Read about that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but it's cool. I don't have any opinions on it because there was like basically nothing about it. We just saw a funny goat and the chick, so it's like, okay, cool. The big one that we got was Disney's Wish. I think this is probably going to be their next one. The synopsis of this movie is: how did the star so many Disney characters have looked at and wished upon come into existence? So you know Disney's scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
They really are.
So
What else can we IP?
the star.
The star.
So we got Jennifer Lee co-write the movie with Chris Buck. Why didn't I look up these people? I look up everyone else, but I didn't look up these people. So Jennifer Lee co-wrote the film with Chris Buck, and Fawn Veerasunthorn is directing. I think I actually nailed that pronunciation.
Awesome.
So
Sounded smooth.
It sounded smooth. And then Julia Michaels is composing the soundtrack. Do you know who Julia Michaels is?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. I was going to make a joke that, like, remember when Disney used to get, like, the biggest stars to make their soundtrack, like Elton John and Phil Collins? But if you know who Julia Michaels is, then I can't. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, so go ahead and throw out the joke.
Do
I just
a
did
joke.
it. I just did it.
Oh, okay.
Did how you were gonna say.
Bad joke, not even worth it.
Okay, sorry. I guess I could say that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of artists as well as with plot. Because they need to, if they were not cowards, they would get like Lil Nas X to make a soundtrack for a movie. Because I think he could do it and it would be really funny.
Yes.
That would be awesome. Or, well, I was about to say Beyonce, but she just did that freaking Lion King. Speaking of the Lion King, seamless transition. We got the announcement. Well, I mean, we already knew it was happening, that the live action Lion King is getting a squeakquel. Turns out, nope, not a squeakquel, a prequel. Everyone loves a good prequel. It is called Mufasa, the Lion King. That's all we know about it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a prequel. I think it's like Mufasa coming to power. I don't know. I don't really care. The only reason I kind of care about this movie is that Barry Jenkins is directing and writing it, who I think is maybe one of the best writer and directors right now. He did Moonlight and then If Beale Street Could Talk. 2 of the best movies of last decade, for sure. And then he got picked up to do this Lion King sequel because that live action Lion King is probably in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. I need to look it up. I mean, yeah, It's a shame that it is, but it is on there. Let me pull it up on. Yes, it is the seventh most highest grossing movie of all time. It says a
Yeah.
lot about society.
It says a lot about society.
I don't know if it's that high because they also count the original Lion King as a part of that. Maybe. But I don't know. Do they usually do remakes in the same as the regular one? I don't know. I don't know either. But Disney's seeing dollar signs, so they're like, we need to make another live action Lion King, even though it was panned by both critics and audiences. I don't think anyone liked this movie. And I especially didn't like it. I'm not a fan of Disney doing any live action remakes, let alone a movie that they made that was actually good. I guess I'm against the Mulan one too, and Aladdin, and The Little Mermaid. They can keep doing the old ones because they have to renew their license, and I know that they hate having their characters go into the public domain. I get that. I don't think it's good, but I get it. But why are you remaking movies from the 90s and 2000s when they still hold up incredibly well? I would say that The Lion King is probably one of the best animated movies of all time. I'm not saying best animated movies. I'm saying that it has the best animation in a movie, especially 2D. You know what? It's better than most 3D animated movies.
Whoa.
In terms of its art style. It's great. It has some of the best animation around. So it's just kind of spitting on the face of the reputation, but I guess Barry Jenkins needs some cash. Next thing you're going to know is that I was about to say Taika Waititi is going to do a Marvel movie, but he did that twice. And he's doing a Star Wars movie. Taika, go back to making fun indie movies. Make Jojo Rabbit 2. That would be fun. Let's talk about, I guess let's just stay in movies. That's it for Disney D23 news. All the freaking Disney news is out. I think there's still going to be some tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be as newsworthy as the stuff we're talking about. Movie news. Morbius is on Netflix.
Morbius.
What? You can now watch Morbius on Netflix?
Let's
Yes.
go.
Queen would have loved Morbius.
She really would. I mean,
On
she was
Netflix.
alive.
Yeah, but like she ain't
But-
going to the theater, you know what I mean?
It wasn't on Netflix.
That's for peasants.
Yeah.
She probably didn't watch the 24/7 Twitch stream of Morbius. You know?
No, I doubt.
I wasn't
I doubt
good.
she was there.
Oh man, there's one of those. I should have watched it.
You should have watched Morbius.
Yeah, I haven't seen Morbius.
This is very sad. I also have not seen Morbius, and for that I am thankful.
What?
I've seen the clip
So
of
good, dude.
I've seen the clip of Matt. Is it Matt Stone? Is that the guy's name? The bad
think
guy
that's his
in.
name. Yeah, that scene is probably the best I've seen in a movie all year.
So bad. It's
I
not
love
Matt
it so
Stone.
much. It's so out of place.
It is. It's so weird seeing that and then seeing him in House of the Dragon, and he's awesome in that show. I guess he's also pretty good in Last Night in Soho. I mean,
he's in a lot of stuff.
He's just a great bad guy. You know?
He's got the bad guy face.
he
He got the good old the British bad guy.
He's a British bad guy.
Face.
He was also Doctor Who, but I don't.
Oh yeah,
That
I
doesn't.
forgot about
That does not click with me. He does not seem like a Doctor Who. He seems like an evil Doctor Who. He should just only be bad guys. He was in Rise of Skywalker. That's too bad. Yeah. So yeah, Morbius is on Netflix. If you haven't seen it now, you should watch it. I'm not going to see it, but you should. The Whitest Kids You Know. Funniest comedy troupe, aside from Tim and Eric, in my opinion. They are wrapping production on an animated movie called Mars. This is going to be the last project that Trevor Moore has worked on since he just died earlier. I think it might have been earlier this year, or it was last year. Too bad, but this is going to be the thank you for your service for The Whitest Kids You Know. So that'll be pretty epic, if you ask me. Wall-E being added to the Criterion Collection, being the first Pixar movie to do so. I'd say pretty good pick. I don't really have anything to add. I think Wall-E is probably
It's classic.
one of the best, if not the best. I know some people really like Ratatouille. That one's not my favorite.
Ratatouille's good, but doesn't bang as hard as Wall-E.
Wall-E's
I think Wall-E's
awesome.
next level. Yeah.
Wall-E's awesome. Has a great message. Just as true today as it was in 2008.
It's gorgeous,
True.
too.
It
I
is
don't
a
know how that
gorgeous
thing came out in
movie.
2008.
I don't know. And it's one of those like timeless movies where a lot of it is not told through dialogue because speech
Those are my favorite
changes.
kinds.
Yeah. So like you watch like an older movie and a lot of it is told visually. And those are the movies that tend to age the best. Like a lot of Hitchcock's movies are mostly told visually. And you can just like watch those movies without the sound and completely get what's going on. Wall-E is that type of movie. It also makes it very accessible because you can release that thing all over the place and dub just the little bit of it that has speech in it. And everybody can relate to it. It's a great movie. Also, the cover for the Criterion Collection version is sick.
Wow.
Look it up. Criterion also always knocks it out with their covers, but this one especially, man. I mean, it's like a perfect complement to the movie. It's one of those, I think Criterion gets the liberty of kind of like making the poster like the message of the movie or having it like tie especially well into the movie because they don't have to worry about marketing. Everybody knows what Wall-E is, or like any of the movies they add. It's like, yeah, you've heard of this movie. That's why it's in the Criterion Collection. Here's a really cool art piece that shows what the movie's about. And it comes with a whole bunch of special features too. It's very worth it to get a Criterion Collection DVD or Blu-ray, whatever. So look it up. I hope that I would love to see Up in the Criterion Collection. They would probably knock it out of the park. Honestly, just add all the Pixar movies except for Finding Dory and Cars 2 and A Good Dinosaur. Does Incredibles 2 make the mark? I don't think it makes Criterion Collection. That one can be left off too. Cars 3 needs to be in there right now. That's probably the best movie I've ever seen. It's awesome. There's a part where cars play the banjo. It's pretty sick. Okay, Glass Onion trailer. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
It was a teaser trailer. It's about a minute and a half long. I have no idea what is happening in this movie. I'm pretty sure it's like I know it's a murder mystery because that's what Knives Out is. So, but I think it's more like Clue or something where like all of these like random people are in the mansion together. They're on
In the
yacht.
Glass Onion.
They're in the Glass Onion, if you will. But they're not related, so it's not a family like it was in the original Knives Out. But you do get to see Dave Bautista wearing a Speedo, and that's fun.
Let's go. He used to do that professionally when he wrestled.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that was his attire. He just wore like a Speedo
That's
and like
gross.
knee pads. I think that was it.
Speedo
And
knee
some like
pads.
military boots or something.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I don't know what he is. I think he's like a YouTuber, if I remember right. There's some weirdo stuff going on in this movie, but I'm for it. People have been saying that this is Daniel Craig's best acting work he's ever done. I don't know. I've not seen a lot of Daniel Craig movies. I thought he was really good in Knives Out. Although I don't know if there was a bad performance in the original Knives Out. It's a pretty stellar movie through and through. So that's coming out on December 23rd on Netflix and select theaters. I'm kind of disappointed about that. I would have loved to see this movie in theaters. It's probably just going to go to New York and LA like most in select theaters are. So a little unfortunate, but you know what? I'll watch it on Christmas Eve anyways.
Yeah.
We got some news about Blonde. Not the Frank Ocean record. Get your head out of the gutter. This is the Marilyn Monroe biopic that's
Oh, of
rated
course.
NC-17.
Of course.
I'm going to watch this movie because I've never seen an NC-17 movie and I need to know what happens. Why is it an NC-17? The MPAA, listen to this. It is NC-17 for some sexual material. Some? You're making it NC-17 for some? This has to be the craziest sexual material that has ever been put to film.
But it's only a little bit.
But it's a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. This picture has completely confounded me. It got like an 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. So it's doing well critically, and that comes out on September 28th on Netflix. It is just around the corner. We'll be able to finally see why Ana de Armas is winning the Best Actress in the World award from Jeff Keighley in the Game Awards. It's going to be awesome. I guess also coming out of the Venice film thing, everybody's probably seen it by now, but that Brendan Fraser clip where he got the standing ovation, he started crying. It makes me so happy. I love Brendan Fraser. And I'll see his new movie. I think it's called Whale or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Whale movie.
Whale.
The Whale. It's by Darren Aronofsky, who did
Darren.
Why do I gotta have to go to his IMDb? He did Pi. He did Requiem for a Dream. He did Mother. Not Producer, you coward. Black Swan. That's one out of 5 movies that have ever been nominated for Best Picture that are horror movies. Very good director. So, I have not seen a single one of these movies, though. I probably should see Requiem for a Dream and Pi and Black Swan eventually. I think that's the one that Natalie Portman won for the Oscar. So, yeah, pretty cool. Go watch that clip of Brendan Fraser. I saw The Rock also tweeted about it, and he's like, this is the guy that started my career with the Mummy sequel. I'm like, I don't know if you want to plug that, The Rock, but I appreciate you helping out Brendan. So, there you go. Let's talk about show news. We got a little bit of, actually, by the time this podcast episode comes out, 6 episodes of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared are going to be on all 4. However, I don't know how I'm going to I don't know if I'm going to have to make an account to watch that, but they're coming out on the 12th, which is the day that this podcast is coming up. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is probably one of the best web series of all time. I don't really know what it's going up against. Maybe Salad Fingers. I know people really like that one. I'm a big fan of Jake and Amir, but that is not at all what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is. So, yeah, the trailer that dropped was weird. I mean, rightfully so. Like, the first half of it was pretty normal, and then the last, 10 seconds was just, all the gore and stuff. I'm like, okay. So it's going to be back to where it was when it was on YouTube. I'll probably watch it. I'll talk about it. I don't know if I can get it because I think it's British. You might have to have a British license, telly license. But I'll find a way. Just like Love does. Oh no, I didn't put this in D23.
I know.
This is all out of order. I made a subcategory for it and everything, and I just put it in the wrong category. Sorry. Pixar is getting its own series that is not related to one of their movies. Because, they did that Monsters, Inc. show. They did the Up show. They're doing the Cars show right now. This is just an original television program that they're putting together. And each episode's going to be in a different animation style. That's awesome. And also, it has Will Forte is going to be coaching one of the main people in it. I love Will Forte. He is the I'm a Demon guy in Tim and Eric.
Ooh, I love him.
He's great. I love Will Forte and everything he's been in. So I was like, oh, yo, Will Forte, epic. I think he's been on I Think You Should Leave, and he has some great sketches on there. So he was going to coach Dan. I have no idea what this is going to be. Okay, the series follows a softball team, but each episode focuses on a different member of the team, showing their POV of the same week with a different animation style. That sounds cool. I like that. So we don't have a release date or anything, but it's called Win or Lose. So I will for sure be watching that. That sounds really interesting. We got a little bit of Netflix news. It looks like Netflix is taking the cue from HBO and Disney Plus and Amazon, and they are dropping the binge model. It looks like they are looking to redo their, well, not redo, but they're looking to do weekly releases instead of just dropping the whole season at once. Which I don't love, but I see why they're doing that. You gotta have, if you can stretch one show out to like 2 months, then that's at least paying for a Netflix subscription twice to watch Stranger
TV
Things.
used to work.
Yeah.
I do like having the sense of community about that stuff.
Yeah,
I
that
feel like
is
that
cool.
doesn't happen very often anymore. I think Euphoria was the last one that people really did that with. And that was just kind of annoying. But, I mean, it used to be cool.
It's been kind of like that with, I guess with both the Lord of the Rings and the Game of Thrones show, where it's been
that's
like
true.
everyone's
That's true.
watching it, and it's like, oh, there's like this sense of like a bunch of people just
There's
really
a,
loving
yeah,
the
it's
same
like a
thing.
community. Yeah.
It's really great. But yeah,
I feel like it has to be big blockbuster shows though, like little or like short animated series like we're watching. Like,
like
I don't
Inside
need it.
Job. No,
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't.
need that to be weekly.
I don't think so. But like, they're gonna do Stranger Things weekly.
Yeah,
And like they're
which I'm fine
big
with.
flagship shows. I think that, I mean, yeah, I do like that sense of community. I see why they're doing it. You do have to get subscriptions and keep them buying your service. So I don't know. It's a net neutral for me. There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, man, the controversy I talked about last week has only doubled. And oh man, it is tough to watch. Like originally it seemed, I mean, I broke it down. There were parts that I got, like the stuff people are complaining that it doesn't feel very Tolkien-esque. I would argue that this last episode that just came out is very Tolkien. There's a scene where an elf cries because he has to cut down a tree. That is like pure Tolkien. So I don't know what they're really talking about. Maybe that's like veiled racism where it's like, oh, there's a black elf. That doesn't feel like something that Tolkien would do or whatever. It got so bad that the show itself had to tweet about it on socials, being like, hey, we stand with our cast and we stand with having an inclusive cast. Stop cyberbullying the guy who plays the black elf. What are you doing? You're a bunch of animals. Not exactly those words, but that was basically the message.
Basically.
And also, this was a little nice thing that happened. Sean Astin, Elijah Wood, Dominic Monaghan, and Billy Boyd, all the people who played the Hobbits and the Lord of the Rings movies, they all kind of put together like a little merch thing that says in Elvish, like, all are welcome. And then it has like a bunch of like ears under it that are all different colors. And some of them are elves. Some of them are like human ears. And they kind of made a very public statement that like, hey, stop doing this. Everyone is welcome in Middle Earth, which I think is nice. I mean, we all saw that from Sean Astin. He's like the nicest guy in the whole wide world.
Love Sean Astin.
I do too. And I like Elijah Wood too. He seems like a nice guy. So it was nice to see them kind of can get together and support the. I mean, I don't remember how bad that Last Jedi thing was to. I forgot her name. I don't. Who's the chick who plays Rose? You know it. Everybody knows it.
I don't remember her name.
Kelly Marie
Apparently.
Tran.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah, that was
That was
really
horrible. I saw that John Boyega did an interview because he's in some new movie. I don't remember what it is. And they asked him, they're like, do you think that you'll ever return to Star Wars? He's like, nah, I'm good. Like, yeah. yeah. People were not nice to John Boyega.
Yeah.
Or Kelly Marie Tran. I mean, I think Kelly Marie Tran kind of suffered the brunt of it with The Last Jedi. People just really, not many people, but racist people really did not like seeing a black Jedi in The Force Awakens. So, I don't know. I've been liking this last episode of the Lord of the Rings show. I thought was really good. There was some like really solid action in it. The Black Elf is awesome. I don't know why people are complaining about this. He's literally the coolest guy in the show. It's like, in Lord of the Rings, like in every single fight scene, it would just like cut to like 30 seconds of Legolas being awesome. He's that.
Yeah.
He's awesome. They have so many cool action sequences with him. And he reminds me of like Legolas and like Strider from, that's just Aragorn, but when he was a ranger, where he's just really cool. And I love that. I love cool characters. I don't know why people are so upset. Well, I know why people are so upset, but I don't think they should be. This guy's awesome. So I thought that was really cool. They also introduced, I don't want to do episode breakdowns, but this is interesting to me. They introduced Isildur and, I don't remember his dad's name, but Isildur is the guy from the very beginning of the first Lord of the Rings, where all of the elves and men are kind of fighting Sauron in the beginning, and they get the ring. Isildur is the guy who has the chance to throw the ring in the volcano at the very beginning and decides not to. So it's like him as like a teenager. So we're getting to see that kind of progression where he, I guess, somehow becomes king and then is tempted by the ring and decides not to destroy it. Basically causing a bunch of people to die like 1,000 years later. So pretty cool. Pretty good show. The new episode of House of the Dragon, also very good. Yeah, I'm in a very good place right now. There's a bunch of shows out that I am loving. But speaking of loving a show, let's talk about Regular Show.
Let's go.
We finished it. So, I don't know. Do we have a lot to say about Regular Show?
Regular Show is fantastic. You should watch it if you haven't.
It sure is.
Those are my thoughts.
I'm a little bit upset. I'm a hair upset.
Yeah, you're a big ending guy.
Yes. Well, especially when it comes to long form animated shows.
Oh, I'm like the exact opposite, which is weird. I feel like I don't care about endings except Adventure Time. Adventure Time was perfect all the way through.
That's
it's literally
what
a perfect TV show.
I was gonna say. I think that animated shows in particular have a history of having particularly great endings. You got Adventure Time, you got Avatar, and you got BoJack. All three of those have absolutely fantastic endings.
That's my holy trinity.
Yes. And Regular Show was so solid. Probably honestly, from season 1 to season 7, fantastic. I loved literally every single episode. The characters in it are great. They're also unique. And it's just JG's, his comedy style is fantastic. I love the characters in Close Enough also got canceled. But yeah, this last season, oh man, it was so disappointing to me. Because I guess imagine if in Adventure Time, like for the whole show, there's like this huge cast of characters and they rotate out and they all have individual stories. Imagine if like just Finn and Jake, Princess Bubblegum, and Marceline just like got on a plane and went to a different planet for the last season, and then like kind of just did what they were already
It's
doing on
not
the
just
other
the
planet.
special, like the vampire special or the
Yeah,
human
yeah.
special. It's the whole
No,
season.
it's like the whole season.
Yeah.
So like all of these people that like elevate the show. Like you have your main cast that is solid, and I love the main characters. I love all the main characters in regular show and Adventure Time. But you need those supporting characters that kind of hold the show together. All of those characters get thrown out the window for the last season, and then they go spend time in space with characters that we don't really care about, and their motivations don't even really make sense. Like they all get taken to space in a dome against their will, and then like the second someone tells them, "Hey, we're colonizing the whole universe. Do you want to be a part of that?" Like almost everyone says yes immediately,
Yes, sir.
which doesn't make any sense. Like Mordecai, he has like a whole life on planet Earth that like he's walking away from. Muscle Man has a whole life on planet Earth that he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to leave my wife for an untold amount of time. That is okay. I'm not going to have any means of communication with my wife. That's just unhealthy relationship, if you ask me. And then like everyone was completely cool with it except for Benson because he just got into a relationship. And it's like, yeah, I would be pissed off too. But then everyone's like, yo, dude, this is awesome. Let's just stay here in space for no reason. And then they stay in space for no reason. And nothing happens. They do exactly what they were doing on Earth in space. But there's no reason for it to be in space. There was no, I don't know. I can't really explain it. But there was like an episode in space where they have a racetrack and they do racing. Why was that in space? I don't know. I don't know if the network...
That was pretty cool.
It was a good episode, but there was no reason that it was in space. Like, I don't know, Rick and Morty. There's reasons that they go to different dimensions. That's like the whole crux of the show. Sometimes.
Lately, it's been all over.
Okay, well, I haven't seen the new seasons. Star Trek. There's a reason they're in space. The entire show is going around to different planets and interacting with people. This show did not do that. Most of the time that they were in space was in a space station with characters that we don't care about, doing things that they would have been doing on Earth anyways. There was no consequence to them going to space. They weren't discovering anything new on different planets. I mean, a couple times that happened, but if you're going to go to space and do this huge thing where you're colonizing different planets, do that. Don't just stay in the space station and then just kind of like, I don't know, just do what you're doing on Earth. Slack off and not do anything. I don't know. It was so frustrating to me. Especially since, like, honestly, like, the first 7 seasons of the show were probably near perfect. I loved the show up until that point. It was just very disappointing with the ending. And then the ending itself, I didn't think was particularly good. What did you think of the ending?
I mean, I don't really care about it. Yeah, I felt like the last season kind of meh.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I get that. It's I feel like there was a lot of side dissing in that last season. I don't know what happened to regular show if it went to streaming when everything else did.
I don't know.
Because there seemed to be a lot of pent up frustration in those episodes.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was partially like okay, you're kind of like boning us, Cartoon Network, so I'm gonna like just make some random stuff for the last season. I felt like that's what it was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. The rest of the show was fantastic. The supporting characters are amazing in that show. Everything is just so unique, crazy. The humor is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff they got away with on regular show was really great.
Yeah.
And they had to edit some of the episodes too, so we didn't see the OGs of like the first couple seasons because they were a lot more PG than the rest of the show as of now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was cool parts in the last season. I like the references to like I think it was in the last episode. Everything was like drawn. It was like a reference to like 2 a.m. in the p.m.
That was cool.
Yeah, that. But yeah, I don't know. I would have loved the last season to just be back and just kind of like celebrate the show's good parts.
Yeah.
I'm I miss CJ. I wish she showed up more in later seasons.
Yeah, it's like there was that whole love triangle thing with CJ, Margaret, and Mordecai, and that just is dropped.
Yeah. He
Which
got
is
the
like,
art chick
okay.
in the end though, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, like that was what it
I
was.
I feel
That
like I didn't get the same weight when they did the montage at the end as I did with Adventure Time, because Adventure Time was just so incredibly well paced. That's like
right.
one of the best episodes of television is like the last
Yes.
episode of Adventure Time. But I never really held regular show to the expectation that I hold Adventure Time. Just because Adventure Time is just flawless from front to back. I feel like regular show is like a cool little episodic thing that doesn't take itself too seriously, but then they'll just get super deep out of nowhere and it'll be great.
Right. And
But
that
I don't know.
was something that I thought was missing. Like the
In the
last
last season,
season,
yeah.
like it felt like a stark contrast where like you have the dumb episodes where they do whatever, which is like what I like about the show. I like the dumb episodes. But then like the ones that like were meant to meant something was just like making Pops worse. Like nobody wanted an awesome Pops. Like Pops is great as who he was. Like he's a great foil to Benson and like Muscle Man as being like this super positive guy. Why make him the chosen
Played by the same
one?
voice actor.
Well, yeah. And High Five Ghost is also voiced by that guy.
I think Hive is he? I thought High
I
Five
think so.
Ghost was JG, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look it up. Who voiced Benson? Oh, why did I think just searching who played Benson would pull
Who
it up?
played Benson?
Sam Marin. He voices Benson, Pops, oh, and Muscle Man. Okay.
Yeah, I think JG did High Five Ghost.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, regular show is fantastic.
I
So
agree.
you don't even have to watch the last season, to be honest with you, and still get like most out of this show.
Yeah.
I think its strength is the journey, not the destination, and I always kind of viewed it as that. So I wasn't too let down by the ending, but it is kind of there was a big dip in quality that you could tell
Right.
was present.
There was something that I thought was clever, and I know that they did this a lot with like the streaming wars stuff, where it's like, what kid is even gonna know what a Betamax is or reel to reel? Like, hell, there are some adults that
I
don't
love
even
the
know what
references
reel
in
to
this
reel
show.
is. But there was this thing in the last episode where they were specifically talking about and like referencing Nielsen. No kid is gonna know what Nielsen is for sure. I don't know if Nielsen is even still around. But Nielsen was like this thing that it would like reach out to different families and like different neighborhoods, and then like it would keep track of what they're watching. So that's like how you would get like ratings on a show, where it'd be like, oh, well, there's like X amount of families watching this show at this time. That means that this show is doing very well. And so like Nielsen was kind of like this huge thing that kind of controlled what did and didn't get made. And so there was like this big joke at the end that like Nielsen, there was like this chick who's been watching over the whole show, and she's kind of like, it's like this joke that like she ran Nielsen, and that then she was like, oh yeah, things got better at this point, but got worse here and got worse here. And it's like, no, I don't know who's writing this show, but those are not dips in quality, my friend. It was, yeah, not particularly great. So just watch the first 7 seasons. It's very good.
Yeah, that's more than enough content for you to be good. So
Yeah, there's like over like 50 episodes in one season, so there's
now
definitely
Jerry
enough to
has
watch.
viewed 2 out of the 3 major golden era 2010s Cartoon Network shows. We need Gumball. That's the other one.
Yeah, well, we still
Over
have
the
to.
Garden Wall is also fantastic, but that's a like a limited thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would include that as being a part of the golden age of Cartoon
Absolutely,
Network.
yeah. But I'm
But
talking
it
like
is
the big
different.
hitters, you know.
Yeah.
Like the big dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think Adventure Time probably takes the cake as like best animated show ever made for me.
It's probably
Avatar's fantastic, and
Yeah.
BoJack's also fantastic, but BoJack's in its own league.
Yeah, it's really its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Avatar probably is my favorite, but Adventure Time is fantastic.
Gravity Falls bangs too. I really enjoy that.
Man, yeah. I mean, like all of the Flapjack alums, which Flapjack
Yeah.
I don't think is particularly like the best show.
No,
When we watched over all of it, I'm like, oh, some of this didn't really age well, but some of it
it was
was
cool,
really
but
funny.
like, you know, the stuff that came from it was some of the best animation.
It's
TV,
like
so.
that spawned Over the Garden Wall, Gravity Falls, regular show, Adventure Time, and it's like that. Those are four
that's
of the
insane.
best animated shows. Period.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be sure whatever JG does next, we'll do. We'll watch it.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is, Close Enough is dead. If Pendleton
Please
wants
someone
to,
pick it up.
I know. I don't know if someone. I've not heard any talks about wanting to pick that show up. I would love for Adult Swim to pick it up, or someone.
I don't know what's
like
happening
them.
with Distant Lands or the Adventure
the
Time
Adventure
spinoff.
Time
I don't know.
ones?
I don't know if HBO clapped that because I know there was gonna be a Fino and Cake miniseries.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that's still happening or not.
I don't know. I think it's hard to say because it originally was supposed to be just those 4 episodes. And for those who have not seen Distant Lands and have seen Adventure Time,
God.
watch them. They are
The
so
animation
good.
is so good.
Yes, and the Marceline and Princess Bubblegum one is probably
Yeah,
the best.
So
It's
good.
awesome.
It's perfect.
So, yeah, those are great. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't think anything has been announced yet. But it is officially over. It's just whether or not Pendleton wants to do it again. Wants to go back to that universe.
Yeah, which I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
also down if he starts something different.
I would love to see something new from all of them. You know, I'd love to see
Yeah.
Alex Hirsch get something. I mean, we're watching something
Inside
that he
Job
helped
is so
work.
good.
Inside Job is great. I saw Alex Hirsch was in a conference today. I think it was called like Pixodl. I think it's somewhere in Latin America. He was doing a conference and he broke down how Disney kind of robbed him and took everything from the show and kind of screwed him. And then he just said, it was no specific company that I'm talking about, but he drew Mickey Mouse as the mascot for this evil company. I was like, okay, yeah, it's any company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll watch whatever he does. Inside Job's great. I am for sure going to be watching that Pinocchio movie that Patrick McHale is working on with Guillermo. That is, oh man, it's going to be so weird. I'm going to love it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where everybody goes, but check out regular show. We're going to be watching the movie. We have not seen the regular show movie yet. See, we'll tell you if it's any good next week. We're going to finish Inside Job, so I guess we'll talk about that next week too. And then we are going to be watching American Psycho. So I don't know. We might talk about it a little bit. We don't need to go
things to
super
say.
into it. You might have things to say. We'll probably need to
Yeah.
break it down a little bit.
Yeah. my movie reviews are very brief. I
Yeah.
do like 3 sentences, and that's pretty much all I have to say.
Well, I mean, we don't have to really talk about it. It's an old movie.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be watching The Sopranos. So we'll probably be starting
Yes,
that this
sir.
week. We're going to be talking like this for the next months. It's going to be great.
My heritage.
It's going to be fun. I saw
Atlanta
that.
comes out on Friday too.
What does?
Atlanta.
Oh, frick. Oh, man, that snuck up on me. Okay, yeah, then we'll talk about that. Yeah, I saw that She-Hulk has Sopranos spoilers in it. I'm like, oh no, everywhere
That's
is getting
awesome.
Sopranos soldiers. Yeah, people were like really upset about that. I don't know what the spoiler was. I did not look into it because we were about to start the show, but it must have been something really big because people like, you cannot do that. And then like the creator like said something. It's like, this show is like over 20 years old. Like, I feel like it's in the realm where we can spoil it. I don't think so, Please don't spoil it until I've seen it, but you can probably spoil it. I know the ending. Do you know the ending of The Sopranos?
No.
Okay. I feel like as being into like film and TV stuff as I am, it would be hard not to know the ending of The Sopranos.
Living under a rock.
But it's one of those like controversial endings that you hear about, where it's like the ending of Lost and the end of The Sopranos. Some people absolutely love it. Some people absolutely hate it. We'll see where we land. Because I don't really know the context of it. So, but that is all I have to talk about. We can move it on over to.
Ow.
Oh wait, I have a little bit of who asked for this news.
Oh, frick.
I know. Avatar 4 has begun filming.
Let's go.
Avatar 3 is
I'm glad that
already
you had to
done.
stop the broadcast. For
I had
that.
to stop it. I had to stop because we have to talk about James Cameron. James Cameron is a hack.
I hate James Cameron.
I hate James Cameron. All my homies love Catherine Bigelow.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's all I have to say. Now we can move on to
thank
the
you.
music part of
That
the
was
podcast.
very important. I'm glad
Thank
that
you.
fit in.
Thank you.
I am a slacker and a dumb idiot, so
What?
I've listened to one new song this week and a couple albums that did not come out this week.
I listen to some music too, so
It's-
don't cut me off at the end.
Okay, I won't cut you off at the end. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that came out this week. I haven't listened to any of it except for one song.
The King Giz
So we'll
song.
go over that. It is the King Giz song.
It's very
But
good.
Nav dropped, Yeet dropped, Ari Lennox dropped, Jockstrap dropped. I'm gonna have to listen to that this week as well. So I got a lot to do, but I haven't been doing it. But yeah, King Gizzard. We've been talking about this. 3 albums in October. They announced all of them this week. We got the first one is a really long title. It's like Mushrooms, Lava.
Well,
bleh, bleh.
I'll look it up. You can keep talking.
But yeah, they got 3. 2 of them are going to be pretty sizable records. The one in the middle, I think it's Laminated Denim. That one's
Yeah.
going to be Timeland 2. Timeland is their EDM record
Oh, okay.
that they put out only on vinyl, I believe. I don't even know if it's an official King Gizzard vinyl. I bought it at a record store. I don't think it's official from Flightless. I think it's a bootleg.
Oh, okay.
But that's how everybody's listening to it. It's pretty decent, but it is just 2 15-minute EDM songs. I'm guessing that, well, it is going to be the same here. That's what the track list is.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be playing upon that more. Our first one that we're getting,
It's Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms,
Yes.
and Lava.
yep, that comes out October.
About 7th.
And they don't have this on the website. October 7th. So this one is so each band member adopted a totem, and they're built around the 7 Greek modes, and it's very jammy. So every song's going to be in a different mode.
Oh, so that's what Iceva is from, because it's ice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So every single song will have a different mode. Ice, whatever the I mode is, I forgot the name of it. It is the most standard one.
Okay.
So we're gonna get some really crazy sounding songs on here. But yeah, we got Ice V is 10 minutes long.
Yes.
There's
Very,
also
very
a-
good.
It is very good.
Yeah.
It's very funky. I'm glad that they're leaning into this jam style that they were doing on Omni and Gatherum for a couple tracks, but I think they're gonna really get an expanded version here, which is what I'm looking for, because it's really fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like a blaxploitation like
Yeah.
soundtrack
It really does.
straight out of Dolomite, but
yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And look at the album cover for this one, because it is
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, I think it's AI generated.
Oh, that would make sense.
It looks like an AI picture.
I'm a fan of all of the album covers here. I think Laminated
Yes.
Denim might be the least exciting one to me.
Yeah, Changes looks really good as well.
Changes is so cool. It's like straight out of like the 50s.
There's 2 different versions of it too. There's a black key one and a white key one.
Oh, that's fun.
But we got 7 tracks on. I'm just gonna call it Ice Death. We got a 7-minute song, a 9-minute song, a 13-minute song, another 9-minute song, and another 7-minute song. So this is very jammy, very long. I'm very
Okay.
excited for this one. I think all the songs are probably gonna sound different.
Are we gonna be able to react to any of these? Are they all gonna be too long? Like Omnibus?
Laminated Denim, no.
Okay.
Ice Death we could
Okay.
definitely. I have my sights set on changes. I think we should do that one for sure.
Okay.
This one's 5 years in the making.
Oh.
It started in 2017 when they were doing their legendary 5 album run in that year. And it's in D major, F sharp major. That's the info they've given us on this one.
Okay.
But I think they said they recorded this one like all over the place, just kind of like wherever as ideas popped up. So this is probably like their most, I guess, like realized version of an album. They usually work pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I am definitely excited for this. I think some people have been comparing it to like Quarters, like what they did with Quarters. We have not heard that one yet.
Yeah.
But I'm excited if they go into like, more of their classical psychedelic style, like back in the day that they did. But that one looks very cool. Laminated Denim is cool. I'll check it out. It's not going to be like the standout of this bunch. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be some cool little like 15-minute tracks. If you're into that kind of thing, there you go. But yeah, this is very exciting. We'll do at least one reaction. I think Changes is a for sure.
Okay.
We'll have to. Well, you liked Ice V, so
I loved Ice Va.
yeah.
I don't know if that's.
And it's long.
Are you supposed to say Ice V or Ice Va? Because they say Ice Va.
It's
in the
Ice
music.
5, but
Oh,
say
do they
Ice
say
Va in the
Ice
track.
5?
yeah,
Oh, it always sounds like Ice Va to me.
it's the Australian accent.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we'll see. We might do Ice Death as well, because I mean, if you enjoyed Ice 5, then this could be a good record.
I did.
But I'm very excited. They have just such an insane pace. I don't know how they do this. And,
I have
and Stu
no
has like
idea.
a medical condition too that he's been dealing with, and they had to like cancel legs of the tour, and they're still doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's pretty.
check out Ice 5. It's really great. I think it's better than most of the stuff on Omnium Gatherum, if I'm being honest.
What?
Besides like a couple standout tracks. But yeah, this is the big King Gizzard season in October. So
Apparently.
we're I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yes, sir. What else we got? Wise Blood has put a teaser, and she's doing some stuff on Twitter. There could be new music coming, which I am
Doubt it.
so ready for. Titanic Rising is so incredible. We still have not reacted to that.
Nope. I don't know.
we'll get
Is
to
it
it
on
eventually.
Bab Jab's wheel or is it on your wheel?
It was on my wheel. I might have taken it off. It might be on Bab Jim's wheel. He might have taken it off. I don't know. We'll get to it eventually because it is magical. But I am looking forward to whatever she's going to do. I hope we get a song or something soon. But she's building up to something. And if it's anything as good as Titanic Rising, then we're in for a treat. Because I think that a lot of people consider that record to be one of the best of the last decade. So stay tuned for that as well. Hopefully something soon shows up for that. What else we got? I think that's it for what I listened to this week. But yeah, there's a lot of albums out. I got to listen to them. I'll report back next week. I just haven't had the, I never
just
had the
bad.
like, oh, let me turn on Ari Lennox, or oh, let me turn on this Jockstrap record.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you got to chill out, Sometimes you listen to too many new albums.
Well, then what did you do this week? Were you just eating chips and lying all week?
Yes, sir. Speaking of eating chips and lying, we're gonna do a little leftist music hour.
What?
Specifically because I have 2 albums to talk about, and they're both in that category. This is not a reoccurring segment.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is not a reoccurring segment. But I listened to another Rage Against the Machine album this week. I did Evil Empire, their 1996 release. This is also fantastic. This is the album that Bulls on Parade is from. Most people know Bulls on Parade. I think it's maybe their most popular song besides Killing in the Name. Yeah, it is. And that song is also fantastic. This was probably the first Rage Against the Machine song I've heard because it was in Guitar Hero 3 when you could play as Tom Morello,
What?
It's classic. But Tom Morello really weighed into the weird guitar on this record. This is where I think the signature style came from, where he plays the guitar like a DJ scratches a record. I don't know how you get the effect of the guitar to sound like that, but One of my favorite memes going around is the funny little dude dancing to the Tom Morello guitar solo.
Yeah.
And that's definitely me when we're listening to this record because he does it a lot, and it's really, really unique. I don't think I've heard someone play guitar like that,
I know.
but it fits so well in this like punk metal hip hop fusion that should not work ever.
Yeah.
There's so many horrible bands that do rap metal, but Rage Against the Machine is just a perfect blend of it somehow.
What do you mean you don't like Five Finger Death Punch?
I do not. They don't really do rap metal though.
Yeah,
Like
they
Limp Bizkit does rap metal.
Oh, what about Insane Clown Posse?
I think that yeah, that's considered rap metal too. So they really chose the worst genre and made the best music possible out of it. Which, that says something.
Yeah, that's something.
Zach's delivery on this record is a lot more flow oriented. It's less like enraged scream singing and more let me get my voice into more of like a rap type flow, which is cool. Lyrically, they're not as blunt as the first record, but I do think this record has more of a backbone when it comes to that. If you have a reference point to what they're talking about on these tracks, I think it's even stronger than the first record in that area. But I mean, opening with People of the Sun, there was a 4-year wait. I could imagine picking up the CD or like the cassette of this thing and putting on People of the Sun right away. It is such an incredible, explosive like intro record. Basically talks about like the Spanish conquistadors in Mexico from like the view of an Aztec or something. It's such a fiery track. It's amazing. Goes into Bulls on Parade next. Everybody knows that song. The guitar that sounds like a record scratch. It's so cool.
I would probably have to play it.
It's so
I
good.
probably know it.
Also, check out the Denzel Curry cover of the song because it is amazing. Denzel Curry doing the song has the same amount of passion as Tom Morello, and that is not easy to do.
No. Huh.
But yeah, this song's a classic. You gotta look at that one at least.
Okay.
But man, this record is so fiery. It goes into Vietnam as the third track. Basically a Rush Lambo, whatever his name is.
Rush Lambaugh.
Yeah, basically a diss track on that.
Good.
It is so good. The choruses were a little shocking at first because it's a very different style of chorus than their first record. But like listening back to it more, there's a lot more of like a funk rhythm element to a lot of it, which is really great. And Zach has just such a I don't know how he gets this intense on tracks, but it's so good. Tire Me, I think this one won a Grammy for like best metal performance. This is a very more mainstream type sounding song, but it hits as hard. I'd love to go to a Rage concert. I missed out on it because I was gonna go when they were doing it with RTJ before the pandemic, and then that got canceled. So
Yeah, but
I
then
need to
they
see
did
them
it again.
They did do it again, and I wasn't able to go.
You coward.
It was so expensive, and it was like 3 hours away. But I think one of my favorites on this record, probably Down Rodeo. This might be like the best opening like vocals I've heard on a track and the best delivery possible. When he just says, "I'm rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun. These people ain't seen a brown skinned man since their grandparents bought one," and then just like a sick guitar riff breakdown. I'm like, yo, yo. But this record is so much fun. It's so heated. There's a lot in here that's like, the Genius Annotator did a really good job here. I was able to pick a lot of stuff up on like first or second listen, but there's a lot he's a lot more in depth in his songwriting. It's not as blunt, but you still feel the passion of it, and you can pick up little things here and there and kind of get a picture of what this song's about, and that kind of stuff. So this is fantastic. I don't know if I like it more than their debut, but it's very close. It's just as like explosive, which I wasn't expecting because the album cover looks such not like that.
Yeah.
It's very like bright, which I'm not expecting with a Rage Against the Machine record.
No.
This is like also entering the era of like album covers looking like this, because like the Battle of Los Angeles looks like a Linkin Park cover almost. I used to confuse the two when I was really young because of that album cover specifically.
I can see
But
that.
I don't know. I think the self-titled is a classic album cover. Like that's one of the best ones ever.
Yeah, I would say so.
They got a little weird as they went up. They went on, but yeah, very very good record. It's a lot of fun to listen to. It's a lot of fun to dig into as well. Yeah, check that one out. I'll probably do what is it? Battle for Los Angeles. Yeah, Battle of Los Angeles '99. I'll probably do that one next week and talk about that.
Okay.
It's easy to go through a discography of 4 studio albums
Yeah,
and kind of fly by them.
that's true.
I don't know. These first 2 records are so good though. Next, I want to talk about a record that came out in July that I forgot to listen to until this week because someone brought it up on Twitter, I think. This is Gais Guevara. Fantano just did a review of this record as well. There Will Be No Super Slave. This is he fully produces, fully raps all of this. It feels like a Griselda type release. He has like a Rock Marciano kind of style around him, but it plays a lot on sampling, very conscious hip hop as well. But the thing opens, in like different snippets that he glued together. So there's like SpongeBob quotes in here taken straight from the show, and then in that same song there's like white nationalist rally segments put into it. So it's like this giant weird radio thing that opens the record. And then the next song he does a drill beat that sounds like it's like a combination of drill and like hardcore hip hop. Sounds super good. I would not expect him to be on that right away, but he comes in swinging. Some of the song titles on this record are so good. The Rayman Legends. We got Rayman Legends. We got a Face Off reference in one track. That's awesome.
What?
My favorite track is probably, or favorite song title at least, is I personally wouldn't have released John McCain. That one's a banger.
Right.
But there's so much lyricism in here that I need to go back to because he goes really fast and the sampling here is really great. He's the most off the wall sampler I've heard in a while. I don't know if it's a Silk Sonic song or a Bruno Mars sample that he flips on one of the songs in the back half and does like a Kanye Chipmunk soul over it. It sounds really good. I think he had a SpongeBob bar on one of the tracks too. So it's again a mixture of like really obscure media and then like very well known songs sampled, which makes it's a very fun listen. Even though there's so much content here that you have to like step back a little bit and like go through lyrics because there is too much coming at you.
Yeah.
But I think Mimicry of the Settlers was probably my favorite off this thing. I think the second verse is like so Loctite. Yeah, he just kind of went in on like geopolitical affairs, like super hardcore in the second verse, and just made it super tight. He does like NATO interferences, liberating Libya, living up to expectations of serial murderers, and then goes into be like Israelis protesting Russia on the graves of Palestinians, red, white, and blue, coup on the Argentinians. Like, he goes so hard in this verse. It sounds so good. His flow matches perfectly. But I think the best part about him this week is he has released a sequel to I personally wouldn't have released John McCain. He has released a sequel. I personally wouldn't revive Queen Elizabeth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the song starts with an intro of some British guy going, "Well, at least our skews don't look like a shooting gallery."
Gotta love the British.
Yes.
Yeah. Funny.
So, yeah, this was one of the more interesting hip hop releases this year. Definitely towards the top of my list. I need to listen to it more because there's a lot of content in here that I have not fully digged into. Besides the stuff I'm able to pick up by ear, I haven't like read through much of it yet. But very good. One of the most unique hip hop releases. I'm definitely going to be watching out for him. I think he has a record last year that people talk about quite a bit too. But I always love finding these random underground rappers that just like blow it out of the water, like out of nowhere. Like super good flows, good production and everything. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things with that genre specifically. I feel like hip hop just breeds so much creativity. But yeah, check that one out. I think that's it for me. I'm jamming this Arca Kick 3 video this week. It's so good. But you'll hear my thoughts about that on
Yes.
Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I upload it. I don't know.
We have Cornelius
Yeah.
coming out today.
Yes.
Check it out if you're into Japanese noise pop, or some of it's noise pop, some of it isn't.
Some of it's circus.
Some of it's circus, some of it's Beatles.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Beatles song.
I just edited it today, so it's all fresh.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's fresh in your brain.
Forgot that song's a bop though.
It is.
Yeah, got a lot of good stuff. I've been listening to some stuff. Mostly just been like listening to SZA or Claro and then letting the auto radio take me places, which is usually how I find music. Weirdly.
Glad someone finds music through that.
Yeah, I might be the only person. I don't know how other people find music, but I usually just like listen to the last song in a record and then just let the auto radio play me something that other people like. And I have found a pretty good R&B record from SZA and another good indie. This is Clara's not indie folk, but a good indie folk record. Both of them have been added to my wheel. The one I found first, let me pull that up, is Give Me a Minute by Lizzie McAlpine. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Very, very good album. It's very stripped back, kind of gives me Nick Drake vibes, where it's really, most of the songs are just her and a guitar. All you need. And her voice kind of reminds me of Billie Eilish's. She kind of does like that whisper singing that Billie does. But she definitely like, she does that for like the more subdued moments. And then she like really builds it up for like some great, I don't know, kind of powerful segments. I really enjoyed it. I think, where did I put that? I put that on Meh. I put both these albums on Meh. So I'd highly recommend that one. That one came out in 2020. I might check out her new record that came out this year, 5 Seconds Flat. That one has Phineas on it, and everyone loves Phineas. I guess that's another Billie Eilish reference, isn't it?
I suppose.
Kind of funny. And then the second one is Jaguar. I just listened to that today. It's was it Jaguar by Victoria Monet. This is it's like R&B disco. Fantastic. It's only 25 minutes, 9 songs, so very short.
A disco album that's less than an hour?
Yeah.
What?
It's very, very short. I believe this was going to be a part of like a 3-part series that she was going to do as like her debut record. But this record came out in 2020 and the other 2 parts have not come out yet. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, maybe. I mean, she does have other records, so I don't know what that means, that like she wanted this to be her debut record when
It could be mixtapes or non-studio albums.
Yeah.
Or like label albums, I guess.
I guess, yeah, these are like Nightmare and Lullaby by Act 2, Life After Love, Part 1, Life After Love, Part 2, and then Jaguar. So there's something going on there. So those might be mixtapes, but this is a fully fleshed out disco R&B record. It probably has the funniest bar I've ever heard. Let me pull it up. Or I might, you know what? I'm gonna save it for the video because you're probably gonna laugh when you see it or when you hear it. Content brain. Well, it would be fun to get that reaction. For the video, so we'll save it. But there's some funny lines in here, and it's really, really solid and really short. So those are 2 positives for me. So I needed to kind of flesh out my meh category anyways. So put it in there. Semi Yikes has pretty much just become 70s folk zone. So I figured, let's just let's see. We need to flesh out meh a little bit. So
my list is stacked.
Yeah, I know.
I have too many good things.
I have too many good things. I don't have like anything in the bad zones.
Yeah.
So, and I've been waiting. I need to listen to Sling Claro. I have been jamming.
It's so long.
It's been in there so long, and
You'll get it next week. You'll get it next week.
I hope so, because Immunity is slowly becoming like, I don't know. It's growing. It's really growing on me. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you'll like Sling then. I feel like we're entering the perfect season for Sling too, so hopefully you just get it good next week.
I
We
hope
can just
so.
avoid all the drama of having to wait 2 weeks after.
That's the thing. I don't think I've gotten a good since John Mayer, and there are so many things on my good wheel that I can't wait to listen to. So it's a little bit frustrating to me, but hopefully we get a good when we record this week. But that's all. Those just those 2 records that I listened to. That were pretty
Epic.
good. I've been listening to Blowback. It's a pretty good podcast.
I love Blowback.
I'm listening to the first season now about the Iraq War.
Is there?
Crazy stuff. You'll never believe it.
You'll never believe it.
Did you
I
know?
bought season 3, so I have all the season 3 ones, and I've gone through those.
Oh yeah, because they release it weekly and then you can buy them all, right?
Yeah, and they for this one they put out the first episode of the Korean War, and then they're waiting until October, and then they're doing weekly. But for $25, I paid 25, and I got all 10 episodes, and there's like 10 bonus episodes.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, that's
I like
pretty
supporting
cool.
the boys. Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta support the boys. So, yeah, I'll check that out. I might as well get caught up before they do the.
yeah. The Korean War season is probably my favorite, but
Oh, okay.
although I don't know, the Cuba one was so good too.
Yeah, I know you're a big Fidel Castro fan now.
Big Cuba guy.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Okay.
That's podcast for you.
Oh,
Do you want to guess how long this one was?
Hour
I'm gonna
40.
say an hour 52.
Paul?
hour 40.
I think you guys are actually evenly spaced.
Oh.
It was 146.
Nice.
Yeah. So, wait, I have to end it
Dang.
right now so that it is 146. Bye.